Ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da. Hello again, and welcome to round 2 of the Parkland Challenge. Our last round was, of course, a battle between siblings. In this round, we pit Union Brother against Union Sister. Let's meet our players. Heather Smith has been the president of the United Nurses of Alberta since 1988. She has outlasted, count 'em, 7 premiers. Hello, Heather Smith.
Hello, Peter. So nice to be here.
Just watching those premiers come and go, eh?
Yeah, I'd like to see another one.
And Guy Smith has been an active union member for 3 decades, at first in his work site, then his local, his community, and since 2009 as president of AUPE. Hi, Guy.
Hi, Peter. Good to be here. Hi, Heather.
Hi there.
And that's the last friendly moment before we get into a bitter trivia battle. To start us off, Guy, I have a question for you about Heather. So it's multiple choice. Wait for the options. Ralph Klein once referred to protesters as left-wing nuts. What did Heather Smith do in response? A, handed out wings, chicken wings. B, handed out nuts, cashews and almonds. C, brought the Oilers' left-winger, Mark Messier, to a protest. Or D, went to a hardware store, bought literal wing nuts, put a ribbon through them, and sold them to raise money to defend Medicare. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if Heather had the kind of influence to bring in Mark Messier to a protest. If she did, that was very impressive. But I do believe that it was option 4. They actually raided all the hardware stores and actually bought wing nuts and wore them with pride.
Did you raid the hardware stores, Heather?
Well, we bought them, but we emptied them of wing nuts, that's for sure.
How many wing nuts did you end up with?
Oh, about over the course, thousands and thousands.
Oh, wow. Heather Smith with thousands of wing nuts. And now, Heather, I have a question for you about Guy, also multiple choice. Guy, you may find this upsetting.
Okay.
Heather, Guy is the president of AUPE. What does AUPE stand for? A, Alberta Union of Public Employees. B, Alberta Union of Public Employees. C, Alberta Union of Provincial Employees. And D, please don't say Alberta Union of Public Employees again.
It is the Alberta Union of Provincial Employees.
Guy, I'm sorry to bring that up because that must be a sore point.
Yeah.
Constant, yes.
When I was on air at CBC, I crossed out the wrong thing so many times. You'll be happy to know.
Good. Thank you.
Creating extra work for myself, changing public to provincial. All right, our next round is about famous labor actions and protests. Heather, in 2000, why did thousands of people gather at the legislature? Was it because of A, food carts, B, fireworks, C, Bill 11, or D, to sing 4 Strong Winds because it's Alberta law that you have to sing 4 Strong Winds whenever you get together?
I don't recall singing 4 Strong Winds when we got together, but it was Bill 11.
It was Bill 11, and shame on you for not singing 4 Strong Winds. Terry Wickham and the Folk Fest will be very disappointed.
Next time we meet at the legislature.
Yes, the next time I see you, I will start, and I expect you to join me. Guy, one controversial privatization proposal would have taken over 2 floors of the Leduc Hospital to do hip and knee replacement for non-Albertans. Was this project called A, Hotel de Health, B, Hotel D-Health, C, Motel de Cash, or D, Money on the Barrel Motor Inn?
Well, although that was the intent of who was operating it, was to cash in as much as they could, it was actually Hotel de Health.
It really was.
Yes.
Although I think Hotel D-Health might have been a little more accurate.
Absolutely, yes.
Next question also for you, Guy. We'll switch it up. Naomi and Seth Klein took on some questions about Ralph Klein, no relation. And there's so much to talk about. We have more Klein questions. And Guy, we're starting with you. Let's test how much you've been paying attention, because this got mentioned earlier. In the mid-90s, Ralph Klein wrote a letter to the president of the University of Alberta. Why? Was it A, to find out whether plagiarism is cool at the U of A, so should he take his degree at Athabasca instead? B, to ask why those idiots in Edmonton don't like him as much as the geniuses in Calgary? C, to ask if anyone had any papers on Pinochet he could borrow real quick, no reason, it's fine, don't bother worrying about that? Or D, he was angry about the Poverty Admits Plenty conference and he wanted the Parkland Institute shut down.
Well, I wouldn't put anything past Ralph Klein. The thing about the Pinochet papers is interesting because didn't he plagiarize something from a university paper? But I would suggest that he probably wanted the Parkland Institute shut down because there's such a great bunch of agitators when it comes to fighting those bad governments.
Everything you said was correct. I was going to say option E to provide a comical example of cancel culture, but I didn't go there. Well done, Guy. Heather, who did Ralph Klein call a communist in 1997? Pierre Trudeau because of the NEP, Peter Lougheed because of kind of everything, C, Kevin Taft, who wrote Parkland's first book, Shredding the Public Interest, or D, Oilers coach Glenn Sather, who said the team is more important than an individual.
Well, I'd have to say A, Pierre Trudeau.
He may well have said that about Trudeau, but in 97, it was Kevin Taft was shredding the public interest.
Public interest, of course.
But I don't doubt he said unflattering things about Pierre Trudeau as well. So you're right enough. I'll give you 90% of a point for that one. Last question to you, Guy.
Mm-hmm.
In 2003, as Alberta cattle ranches were threatened by mad cow disease, what did Ralph Klein say he thought ranchers should do? A, shoot, shovel, and shrug. B, shoot, shovel, and shirk. C, shoot, shovel, and shut up. Or D, shoot, shovel, and inform the relevant authorities because all our decisions should be grounded in science and sound policy.
Well, Ralph Klein was such a brilliant thinker that obviously he believed in science and wanted the truth to be exposed, but he also was directing those comments of shoot, shovel, and shut up to the public sector as well. So at least we in the public sector and ranchers had something in common, at least for a little while.
That is correct. And Guy, I'm really enjoying your misleading lead-ups. Well, while it is true that he loved science, I think it was C. So I'm going to give you 1/9 of a point for bonus enjoyable prefaces. Now, these next questions are not multiple choice. Heather, I'm going to give you a category, and you will get a point for every answer you come up with. This is more difficult, but the good news here is that you can Zoom a friend. And the great news is that friend is Jason Schilling, president of the Alberta Teachers Association. You are allowed to work together on this. Jason Schilling, hello and welcome.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Heather, for letting me be your Zuma friend.
Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Ralph Klein threw a number of objects at people over the years. My challenge to you is name as many things as you can that Ralph Klein threw in any sense of the word threw. Is anything coming to mind, or do you need some hints?
Something does come to mind besides insults. I remember throwing coins at homeless people.
Yes, we will accept he threw money at a homeless person. Do you remember what he said for a bonus point?
Oh, I know when those similar coins are thrown at me, get a job. I don't know.
2 points. All right, name something else that Ralph Klein threw.
He threw a lot of temper tantrums.
What about one in the legislature? Do you remember that?
Ooh,
Oh,
I'll give you a hint. He threw something at a legislative page.
it wasn't a shoe.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
It was a liberal healthcare policy book. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You had just for a merciful moment wiped that from your memory and I brought it back. You're welcome. I'm thinking of one that's more tricky use of the word threw. He threw on his jacket at a healthcare meeting in Ottawa and left early so he could go where?
oh,
To the casino?
Yes, a casino. It was a casino in Quebec. So far we have a policy book, money, and going to a casino. One last question. Can you think of anyone he threw under the bus at any point?
You don't mean me. I hope.
Anyone you're connected with?
I can't think. Jason, can you think?
I'm thinking probably just about anybody who was in the public service because you had that 5% rollback at that time as well, right? Nurses,
Right.
teachers.
We'll accept the entire public service as an acceptable answer for things he threw under the bus. That's all the ones I could think of. Do you have any other throughs in mind? Or have we already triumphed at 4 points out of 4?
I think we should get a bonus point.
Well, you got one bonus point for Heather getting get a job and
Oh,
one
yeah.
bonus point for you just asking for a bonus point because that's how you win in negotiations. You have to ask or you won't get.
Well, in that case, I would like 2 bonus points.
I'll give you 1.5 over 2 years. How's that?
All right, as long as it's not phased.
Okay. We'll give you 2 full point equivalents, FPAs. Well, you've triumphed at that round. So much throwing, so many memories that eventually came back. Jason Schilling, thank you for your great contributions. Round of applause, everyone watching, for Jason Schilling.
Okay. Thanks very
And
much.
now, get back to work. Now, Guy, we
Mhm.
also have a non-multiple choice question for you. What is your level of dread right now?
Well, you know what? Compared to the people I normally have to speak to on Zoom, I feel very comfortable with you, Peter, but bring it on.
Okay. Your Zuma friend here to help you is Rory Gill, president of CUPE Alberta. Hello, Rory Gill.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Guy. How you doing?
Hey, Rory, thanks for being my friend.
Always, brother.
I love that we have AUPE and CUPE, so it averages as BUPE, which is the sound you get when you poke someone gently in the stomach with a picket sign. Boop, just like that. I think that's what boop is. So these are short snappers, and you can work together. Short question, one correct answer. Every answer contains the syllable Smith, appropriately enough.
Okay.
Here we go. In The Simpsons, what is the name of Mr. Burns's fawning assistant?
So give me a hint.
The hint is it's also a town in BC, and it starts with Smith. So it's like Smithson, Smithington, Smithers, Smithley,
Smithers.
Whalen
Smithers.
Smithers.
I'll
Whalen
just keep shouting things out until I
Oh.
get a correct answer.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah.
All right, let's go back a little further in popular culture. The filibuster is in the news in the United States. The greatest filibuster in American movies featured Jimmy Stewart staying on his feet until he collapsed in what movie?
It's Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Yes, and it wasn't Rory Smith. I named you honorary Rory Smith. Rory Gill, that was absolutely right. That was meant as a compliment, Rory. That is correct, and your politeness was outstanding. Mr. Smith was the villain in what science fiction movie trilogy?
It is The Matrix, and it's Agent Smith, not Mr. Smith.
I will give you 3 points for gratuitously working in. You're the largest union in Canada, and I will subtract 5 for correcting me, even though it is Agent Smith. You're
Oh,
quite
thanks,
right.
Rory. If I say we're the largest union in Alberta, will we get extra points like Rory did for his comment?
I'll give you 2 for drawing attention to it, and I'll subtract 3 for bragging once again. You've ended up -1. For Rory Gill,
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, and keep up the good work. All of those points are about to just become irrelevant. What we're going to do now is our final round, 25 years in 25 seconds. Your challenge is this. The Parkland Institute is celebrating its first 25 years. We're asking you to tell us what the work of the Parkland Institute means to you, and this is worth 1 billion points, and we're rounding off to the nearest 100 million. So doing the math in your head, nothing that happened already matters. Heather, we will start with you. Please tell us what the Parkland Institute means to you.
The Parkland Institute means light. It has brought light to public discourse. It has brought forward facts versus political rhetoric. The Parkland has educated and informed Albertans with research, our annual conference. Parkland is an essential voice in Alberta's political landscape.
I will give you 1 billion points for that.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Heather. Guy Smith, it's all to play for.
All to play for. 1 billion points on the line. So
Yeah.
despite the image created by its name, the Parkland Institute is not a wildlife refuge. It is instead a crack team of researchers that punches well above its weight, but never below the belt. For 25 years, the Parkland Institute has boldly entered into the fray of Alberta political discourse by delivering hard-hitting research, conferences, and public engagement. So cheers to you, Parkland, and please keep on enlightening, educating, and energizing us all.
I will give you, Guy, as the British sometimes say, 1,000 million points.
Oh, great.
Which turns out to be 1 billion, which means it's a tie, unbelievably.
Wow.
The score is Smith 1 billion and Smith 1 billion. Congratulations to both of you. You finished first. Heather Smith, thank you very much for being with us. It's been a real pleasure, and thank you for playing along. Guy Smith, king of the preface, let me just say that it's good to spend time with people who are interesting, and this has been a pleasure for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that is round 2 of the Parkland Challenge. Many thanks to Guy Smith, Heather Smith, Jason Schilling, and Rory Gill. Now, before I return you to the festivities, I have another poll question for you. I like the idea of a new motto so much. I think the Parkland Institute should have a new mascot as well. So maybe it does go to Guy Smith's point about it being a wildlife refuge. What creature do you think should be the Parkland Institute's mascot? You'll see a poll pop up. Please answer there. Should the mascot be A, a cactus, It thrives in a hostile environment and it can be super prickly. B, a camel, which carries more than its fair share of the weight, and if angered, will spit at you. C, a mountain goat. Somehow they're always on solid footing and they're never afraid to butt heads. Or D, should the mascot of the Parkland Institute be a dog? Smart, loyal, and if you don't like it, you're the problem. Please vote A, B, C, or D in the poll. Let me take a moment to thank all of our great participants and Bill Kilgannon for organizing the quiz, and also Grant and Claire for their invaluable technical help. And now we resume your regularly scheduled festive evening with Ricardo and Bill. Have a great evening. Keep up the good work. Bye for now.